slipstream caught between realities, a secret museum of the esoteric, the private library of shadows, all taking place in a world forged from mystery and caught between logic and myth. You are entering ParaReality.
Hello and welcome to the mysterious world of ParaReality. This is a realm where the blurred lines between what's real and unreal merge together, forming an alternate reality where both truth and fiction become indistinguishable. I'm Sandman and I'm your host, and I've got Easy E in the co-pilot's chair again tonight. What's up, E?
What's going on, man?
Well, I have to say that this is a bittersweet episode we're recording here.
Bittersweet indeed.
Yeah.
Yes.
So for a few months now, Easy and I've been hiding a secret from all you listeners out there. Has to do with the podcast, and it's going to change ParaReality altogether once we reveal it to you. It's nothing earth-shattering, but yet it's still going to impact the podcast 100%. Nonetheless. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, so I'm just going to do it, man. I mean, it's with a sad heart that I have to announce that this is Eric's last episode as the co-host of this podcast. He told me sometime back after the first of the year that he was going to be moving to Orlando, Florida to begin a new chapter of his life and his career. And needless to say, I was a little bit shocked, but knowing the circumstances of what was going on in your life and everything at the time, I had to say that I wasn't really all that surprised either.
Yeah.
So after he told me, we decided to keep everything a secret from the listeners out there until basically the last possible minute, because I really didn't want the focus of the podcast to shift to have like a sad tone and like, oh God, Eric's leaving and when's his last episode going to be, stuff like that. So I wanted to keep things status quo and then make the announcement closer to the time of the move. And unfortunately that time has come. It's getting pretty close. It's like what, a couple of weeks?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah. And by the time you guys will be hearing this podcast, as of right now, record day, I don't know when I'm going to air this thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I might already be,
so you might already be, you could be driving down the road listening to this very podcast in your car, shedding a tear on your way down to Orlando.
Yeah. I mean, shedding a tear, honestly, is a legitimate statement. It's been such a blast being here with you, man.
It has been.
And it was just kind of a roundabout way that we met as well.
Yeah,
so it's, for anyone out there, if you're thinking about doing something or joining a group or putting yourself out there, I mean, obviously be careful what you do. But at the same time, I mean, some of the best friendships are just like,
you never know,
random things that pop up.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, maybe you haven't been a listener for all that long, but Easy E's been the co-host of ParaReality since 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And during the last 3.5 years, we've really developed a close friendship as well as a partnership.
Oh, yeah.
And unfortunately, you've only had the chance to appear on about 20 episodes by my count, maybe a little bit more than that. And that's really because of just constant scheduling conflicts, mostly on my part because of the weird schedule that I have with my very untraditional job at the time. And now that I finally got a regular job and we had the conversation, like, oh man, we're finally going to get on the regular, we're going to get it regular episodes coming out, with you in the co-host chair and everything. He's like, well,
throw a wrench in
maybe not. Yeah. But those 20 episodes or so, they've been a real pleasure to cover with you, my friend.
Oh, for sure.
And together we've tackled a lot of topics like Jeffrey Epstein to ancient aliens and reviewed a couple of documentaries, and we even went to a Dogman conference together.
We did first annual Dogman.
Yeah. And I've even made an appearance or two on your podcast that you host with your sister Erin, The World We Live In.
Yes.
Which we're going to be talking about that tonight. We've learned, man, learned a lot of things with and from each other, and we've also had a lot of fun doing it too.
A blast,
a lot. So tonight we're gonna say goodbye to Eric Easy E Patterson. Don't ask me why I want to call you Easy E. I just do, because you're so laid back.
I am.
And your name's Eric, so Easy E.
Yeah.
There you go. And we're gonna say goodbye to Easy E tonight, and wish you good fortunes with your new life and career in Orlando. But before we do that, we're going to take a look back at some of our favorite moments together and discuss some of our favorite topics. But of course, to learn more, you'll have to tune in, and find out. But before we do that, it's fan mail time.
Oh.
Yeah.
I haven't had one of these in a while.
I know.
Yeah.
Sometimes I run the gamut. Sometimes I don't feel like doing.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I'm like, we got to do it. So yeah, so I got some fan mail. Boy, that sounds loud. I got some fan mail I'm going to talk about. So this comes from YouTube. A lot of people listen to the show on YouTube, which is really weird. YouTube's more for video, but hey, whatever, I'll take it. It's an outlet. But this comes from YouTube from listener Larissa. And it is concerning our June Lundgren interview that we did last episode.
Very, very interesting.
Yeah. And Larissa says, amazing interview. I highly recommend people read June's books. They have so much good information to learn the true ways of the paranormal side. So thanks, Larissa, for listening and being a supporter of ParaReality. And, Joan was a very interesting interview, very interesting woman.
Yes.
I do want to get her back on again. She made that thing about me being in the part of the Holocaust.
Oh, yeah.
My name was Heinrich Schwartz.
Yeah.
Schwartz.
Yeah.
Chwatz. I think I was supposed to have been in Auschwitz and died at 27 years old. That's one of the things she said that she was picking up on. Can't find any history record of that person, but I haven't done a lot of digging.
Yeah,
So, and she did say she wasn't too sure that might have been the correct name or whatever. That's just what she was picking up on. So we're going to do some more.
Yeah, she definitely. I mean, I'm sure the books have a ton more information about things she's been a part of, and but yeah. An hour with someone you've never talked to it's challenging to distill it down.
Yes, it is. Yeah. But nonetheless, I'm going to get her back, and it was a really good interview. We had a good time, I thought, talking to June. So, and I do, and by the way, I realized as I was reviewing the episode, I called her Joan Lundgren a couple of times.
I think you actually just did. You did that like a minute ago.
Yeah, did I? Yeah. Joan Lundgren was like a TV reporter from the 80s or something like that, I think.
Yeah.
And it's really got me screwed up. So I've talked to her since then, and I'm like, I called you Joan a couple of times, so I'm very sorry. And she laughed it off. She was like, man, I've been called worse. So I'm like, okay. Yeah. So, here I am publicly apologizing to Miss June Lundgren for my faux pas and calling her Joan. I think I did it at least twice. So so for you guys that are picking up on that, you don't need to email me, say, hey, you're an idiot. I know I'm an idiot. It was an honest mistake. So here we go. Yeah. But thanks, Larissa, for being a supporter of the podcast and for enjoying June Lundgren's interview that Easy E and I did with her. It's always a blast to have people on the podcast. And, hey, man, if you know of somebody that you think would make a good guest, send me an email, sandman@parareality.com, or maybe you think you would be a good guest. If you've got some sort of weird story to tell, maybe you're psychic, intuitive, or empathic, or been abducted by an alien or Sasquatch or dog man, whatever, I mean, I'm serious. I mean, if you had something weird happen to you and you want to be on the podcast and tell your story, hey, get in touch with me, sandman@parareality.com. That is the best way to do it. All right. Now that we've answered that, take a listen to this. ParaReality is a proud member of the Straight Up Strange podcast network. To learn more about all the awesome podcasts that are members of the Straight Up Strange family, go to straightupstrange.com and get strange.
Broadcast from a secret bunker somewhere outside of Nashville, Tennessee. This is the award-winning podcast, ParaReality.
So I did some new bumpers and stuff,
Yeah, it sounds good. I like it.
And of course, because I am such a super genius, I forgot to label it on my board. So now I've got the old labels, and I'm just like, oh, shit.
You're shooting in the dark.
Yeah. Of course, the board's digital, and so I could, if, once again, I were smart, I could just have it pulled up on the digital area of the board, and it would tell me. It would tell me. But no, why would I want to do that?
Yeah,
why be prepared?
Nah.
It's more fun to just shoot off the cuff.
Yes.
Such is the professionalism of this podcast. If there's one thing that you have learned, it's professionalism.
We did that the other day. I was doing the intro, and I like mispronounced the letter, and I was like, we're just gonna go with it. It's all
I'm not recording this.
Yeah.
I'm not re-recording 30 seconds.
No.
Screw that. Yeah, I've done that. There's been plenty of times where I've like sneezed or whatever, and I'm like, I just muted my mic. I'm not going back.
We're good.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, I used to be one of those people that would go back and like edit the show like to the nth degree and everything, but I'm not getting paid for this, man.
100% different if I was making a living salary off this. 100%
Yes.
different.
Oh, absolutely, dude. And maybe that's the reason we're not making a living salary. Because we were listening to that and was like, oh shit, these guys. No. So, dude, last time sitting in the co-pilot's chair, I'm bummed, man. I really am. I have had so much fun over the last 3.5 years, and it's been more than just like a collaboration. It's been, we really developed a friendship.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I remember when we first met. So let's back it up for a second here.
Yep.
Yeah. So you and are you still a member of the Nashville podcaster meetup group, whatever?
I get their emails. I'm not. It was it just seemed as if it was geared more towards like business, professional type podcasts.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
I agree. So there's this meetup group here in Nashville that's a bunch of independent podcasters, and they meet like every month on a Wednesday or something, and it's pretty cool because they got, they give you tips on like how to grow your podcast, get revenue, all that stuff. But it just wasn't, I did not feel that it was geared towards being an all-inclusive of like all genres, but I don't think that they did it that way on purpose. It's just, that's kind of how it evolved, and really I've been to a few meetings, just didn't, I don't know. I guess I'm not a group joiner or something. It just didn't feel like I was a good fit.
And it was also run out of the Nashville Entrepreneurship Center,
which is pretty cool.
Which is a very nice area. If you live in Central Tennessee, it's a really nice spot. Also great organization, and so I think that also played into it. That it was geared toward more of the creative professional type.
Yeah, I think it's more for people who are looking to make their podcast like a source of income, not maybe their sole source, but maybe a source of income, which, don't get me wrong, I'll take that. If someone were to come up to me today and say, hey,
we like what you're doing.
We like what you're doing, and we want to give you an income, I'm like, hell yeah, I'll do it. But that's not what I'm trying to be. I've always said I know that I'm not ever going to have that kind of podcast where, like Derek Hayes from Monsters Among Us. I'm not going to be that. No. And I realize that, and it really surprises me at how, the podcast is enjoyable, but it really surprises me at how popular it has become, because it's, I don't know. I know he puts a lot of time and effort into it with the research and everything, which is phenomenal, But as far as him doing the podcast, he's really, I mean, he's literally just a host. And he said, okay, here's just some person that left a message, and they leave their message, you know?
No, it is.
And,
it's all call-in based.
Yeah.
And I listen to it every now and then. I really like Derek. Honestly, I wish he would do something more like by himself.
Yeah, I have actually reached out to him a couple of times, trying to get him to talk to me about what he knows about the Mirrored Men, because that really fascinates me.
That's a weird one.
You know, I at first I was like, I would like for you to be a guest on my podcast to talk about Mirrored Men.
Yeah.
And then the next time that I reached out to him, I was like, you know, I don't care about whether you're a guest on my podcast. I just want to talk to you. We can do it completely off the record. I want to know more about the Mirrored Men, because you can't find anything. You know, what do you know? He would be the person that I would be considered to be the expert. And he has never, ever once responded to me whatsoever.
It's a shame.
And, you know, that kind of, and, you know, he's busy. He's got a lot of stuff going on. He does more than just that podcast, and I get it, you know, but it kind of turned me off a little bit on him. I'm like, man, you know, you could at least, we all started out
exactly
in the same spot. You could at least have the common courtesy to email me and say, hey, dude, I'm not interested. And I wouldn't care, you know. But like I said, he's busy. I understand. He's got bigger fish to fry than this little guy over here. But anyway, we digress. So you're a member of that, you were a member of that group, and I'm the same way. I never really officially quit. I still get their email and their Facebook stuff. But that's how we met. Was I put a little ad out on the group's Facebook page. It was like, hey, I'm looking for a co-host if there's anybody interested, and here's what my podcast is about. And you were like the only person that really expressed, like, I mean, I got a couple of other people who, like, you know, replied to me.
A couple others were on there,
but you were the only one that really showed a true interest in it, besides just passive, you know, whatever. And I remember when we first sat down at that little coffee shop and had the talk, and because I wasn't sure going in, I'm like, okay, I don't know this guy, don't know who he is, and we talked for probably about an hour or so. Man, I mean, it was a good long conversation, and I left and came back home, and I was like, I think that's the guy. I think we're going to do good. And lo and behold, you know, 3.5 years later, over 20 episodes, here we are.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And I did a whole episode where I just interviewed you. You know,
that's right. I think it was one of the first ones.
That was the first one where I interviewed you. But your very first like official co-hosting gig on ParaReality was with when we did the episode about the Hollywood Star Whackers.
Oh, damn!
Do you even remember that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So I got a couple of minutes of a clip here that I want to play where we start talking about the Hollywood Star Whackers, and this, I wish I would have had time before you came into the secret bunker here to get more clips. So I only have a couple that I'm going to play.
Yeah.
But this stood out to me, this particular clip, because it kind of showed me where your mind is about when we're going to be talking about these things, and the way that you think. And that was one of the things that I really liked. And this clip to me kind of shows that. So this is Eric and I, when I'm the very first co-hosting gig where I'm introducing the concept of the Hollywood Star Whackers. So let's see if we can make this work here. We've been having computer issues. Let's see if this is going to play. I watched, here we go, probably about a month ago, I watched this little 1-hour documentary about Randy Quaid and how he's kind of gone off the deep end with his whole Hollywood Star Whacker conspiracy theory thing. And I thought, you know, that would probably make for a very interesting show topic. So here we are, you know.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. I had never heard of this when you brought it up, and he brings up some interesting points, I will say. I'm not totally convinced, but I can see where there could be something going on as we get into it. Yeah.
So you think there is some sort of clandestine group of Hollywood superpowers out there that's deliberately ruining the careers of Hollywood stars, or framing them, or trying to kill them?
I could see, just considering the amount of wealth and power-hungry individuals that we all know exists around the world, as well as Hollywood and politics. I could see. I don't know about the killing. I think it's a little extreme. Possible. It is possible. But I could see ruining people financially being a key strategy, as well as maybe some psychological mind games that make people seem crazy. And then everyone's like, okay, yeah, they're just crazy. So by that point, if you have the idea that they are crazy in the public mind, you have basically ruined their career.
And that is why I think that we've made such a good team together, is because you have that mindset that I do, which is, I've always described myself as an open-minded skeptic.
For sure.
And that's kind of where you sit on the fence,
Oh, yeah.
And it just, that clip to me just showed that, I'm open to these things, but I'm also doubtful of some of the stuff too.
Yeah.
So which is I don't think it's a good format to have someone that's just totally like, this is the only way you can believe. This my way or no way.
That way never works.
No, it doesn't.
The one-sided belief never works.
And, when you're doing a podcast like this, it's always pretty cool, I think, and engaging for the listeners to maybe have co-hosts one on one end of the spectrum and one on the other, one that's a total skeptic and one that's a total believer of everything, where you can play off of each other. But it's really, to me, it's better to have people who are in the middle, because when you have someone that's in the middle, you can either have episodes where you agree or where you disagree.
Yes. Yes.
And
one goes one way, one goes the other. Yeah.
And you never know what's going to happen, and it makes for a more interesting engagement, because if you have the quote unquote roles that you're going to play, it's like, well, Eric's always going to be the believer and Sandman's always going to be the skeptical one. Who's going to take what side.
Yeah. I've never found a podcast I like that involves those dichotomies, if you will, one-on-one. It's just, you're right. They always end up playing roles, and I don't know. It's like it becomes like an argument, and instead of more of a debate.
Yeah.
Instead of more, I don't even know if debate's the right word. Instead of more of a conversation.
Yeah.
Because I know we have disagreed on a few things.
Oh yeah.
But it's not super separated. It's like, oh, this doesn't really make sense to me, but this does to me. Yes.
Yeah. It's never been one of those things. It's like, you bastard,
you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Hey, how dare you not take sides with me? And that is something that I think has been very important for our dynamic, and it does make for more interesting conversations, and it engages the listener a lot more, I think. Yeah. So looking back, I don't know if I ever have asked you this, but after we had our first meeting in that coffee shop way back in 2019 or 2018, whenever the hell it was.
Yeah.
What was your thoughts after you walked away and you were driving home, because you had a further drive to go than I did?
I did.
What was your thought? I mean, were you like, this guy's nuts, or this is?
Oh no, I was like, this is gonna be sick. This is gonna be awesome. Especially since you've had multiple endeavors into the radio and podcast world. So I was like,
so eloquently put.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh, this guy, this dude's
he's failed multiple times. I'm gonna fail with him now. Perfect.
Yeah. Put simply.
Yeah.
No, I was like, this guy has a lot more experience, and it's gonna be sick.
Well,
And
one
it
of
was.
the things that intrigued me was that you were very new to podcasting,
Yeah.
and I was like, I hope you can learn some stuff from me, and I hope that you have.
Oh, 100%.
The thing that I really am so thankful for is that I think both of us made the right decision, and we, instead of it just being more of a quote unquote business type partnership, that it had developed into a friendship instead of it just being, okay, well, guess I got to get Eric over here.
Yeah, I gotta go do that
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah, it's like, hey, we'll send each other. I mean, we're in the group, the Conspiracy Time group on Instagram.
Yeah, great group.
Great
with
group.
My
Yeah,
sister, her boyfriend. Yeah, some brilliant material.
and it's stuff like that, and we'll text each other or call each other. Hey, what's going on? We hang out. I went to your going away party, you bastard, at Disc Insider last weekend, and it's too bad it just couldn't have been more because of my crazy ass schedule. And then you've got your life too.
Yeah, I mean it's been awesome, and we have done good amount of hours and podcast and episodes, but yeah, I think COVID happened, and obviously you're in the medical profession, so that was a whole thing.
Yeah,
and then just.
Thank God for COVID, right?
Yeah.
What would we do without COVID? Yeah. So, like, if looking back on everything, some of the things that we've covered, like, the Jeffrey Epstein thing, we did a couple of those.
Lists, yeah.
Let's see, what else was it? I don't have my list sitting in front of me.
The Solomon Island Giants.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm personally pretty enamored with the giant.
Yes, you are.
The giant lore of history. The Black Dogs and Alien Big Cats.
Black Dogs, Alien Big Cats,
I know you have a personal experience
Yep,
with that.
yep. Pale Crawlers, that was one of the things
Crawlers.
that we did.
Those,
Lisa Marie Presley conspiracy stuff.
That was a very interesting one.
So what's been like your favorite episode that we covered together?
Yeah, probably the Giants, the Pale Crawlers, which, that's only taken off since we've done that episode. I mean, Lon Strickler has reports coming every day of Pale Crawlers, which is insane. So that's actually probably the most interesting one, I think, on the list from my perspective, as far as paranormal, interdimensional, whatever you want to, cryptid, because I mean, I'm still not convinced if they're physical or non-physical. It's kind of the Slender Man type thing with the thought form and
tulpas.
Whatnot. Yeah, the tulpas, because the Pale Crawlers are also the Rake, which was
part of Slender Man mythos.
Yeah. So I don't know about those, but yeah, I mean, and then you got Jeffrey Epstein in there along the conspiracy line, which just goes down every possible conspiracy you can think of. So
yeah, we could have done a whole season just on Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh my goodness, yeah,
probably should have. But
I mean, banking, Ghislaine Maxwell's father working for Israeli intelligence and also owning one of the largest newspaper magazines in the UK and blah blah blah. It just goes down every
there's so many rabbit holes, dude. So many. I would have to say that our collab that we did on Jeffrey Epstein is my favorite. Those two episodes, especially the first one, those are my two favorite episodes that we did together.
Yes.
Now, believe it or not, I think our most popular episode, just going back and looking at some of the stats and everything, was the Solomon Island Giants. We got a lot of good feedback from that, and it's been one of the more downloaded episodes. So
that actually does not surprise me.
Yeah.
I think the more I don't know, archaeologists, scientists are discovering parts around the Earth, especially with all this LiDAR technology now.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just insane. Like there was definitely something there was definitely an advanced civilization on Earth way, way, way before, like, pushed back before the Ice Age. 100%. I'm convinced.
I have to say I'm pretty much believing that too.
Yeah.
The thing that I take a pause on when it comes to that, though, is, okay, so where is all of their technology that they had? I mean, if they were an advanced civilization and they were able to do all these things and build all this stuff, why were they building it out of stone, and where's all their tech, and what were they using? Why come we can't find, like, holy shit, here's a 10,000-year-old laser, something,
Yeah.
That's the only thing that gives me pause.
I don't disagree with you.
But I do believe that we were more advanced than what we have been led to believe.
Yeah.
And I'll take a page out of Giorgio Tsoukalos' book, is that our ancestors were every bit as intelligent and as smart as we are.
Yeah.
It's just their frame of reference for everything. They didn't have the tech that we do now. So them seeing a spaceship fly through the sky, to their only frame of reference to that is, it's a bird.
Mm-hmm.
It's a gigantic bird with flames spewing out of its ass, Yeah. And to us, we see, something that we can't explain flying across the sky, and we're like, well, it's an unidentified flying object. It's a UFO.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they were seeing. They just didn't have that term,
exactly.
So the only thing they could draw from was, well, the only thing we know that flies is a bird. So it's a metal bird, or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the Solomon Island Giants has been one of the most well received episodes that you and I did together. So
yeah, and
which was going back towards the first.
That was pretty early.
Yeah,
pretty early. And then just along that same vein, I mean, like, native cultures, especially in North America, have stories about their ancestors, like, killing tribes of giants that were cannibals, like the Lovelock Cave in is it Nevada or New Mexico? One of those. They, like, trapped giants there. This is the story. They trapped this group of giants there and, like, caught them in the cave and then, like, massacre them because they were, like, cannibalizing
Oh,
people.
Well, that's
Yeah.
a good reason to massacre giants.
So, yeah. I mean, survival of the fittest, I guess.
Yeah. You would think that the giants would be more fit, but I guess they cannibalized too many Native Americans, were fat and slow.
Yeah, cannibalization doesn't seem like the optimal nutrition for longevity.
I don't know. You got that Instagram post I sent to you in the conspiracy time thing
That's
the
true,
other day.
the Human Meat Project. Yeah.
That's something that I'd like to definitely
Oh, my goodness.
not partake of, but I want to investigate that. See, and that's right up your alley. That's what I thought, and I was like, damn it, he's leaving, and
Yeah.
that's right up his alley.
We'll have to save that for maybe when I'm back in the holidays, we can find a time to
Yeah, that'd be cool.
just do an extended release episode.
There you go, extended release. ParaReality, extended released version. I like it.
Director's cut.
Oh yeah, that's it. Director's cut. Cool. So yeah, and if you could pick, like, so we've talked about what your favorite topic was, and we talked about what our most popular topic was.
Yeah.
So if you could pick something that you really wanted the two of us to tackle, but we never did get around to it, what would that be?
Man, that's a good question.
That's why I'm here.
Yes. I would have liked to done like a maybe like a Rothschild's banking conspiracy episode. I think that would be fun.
That would be had to be a two-parter.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a long one.
Yeah.
I would have liked to do like a maybe like a not necessarily 9/11, but one of those that's just like pushing the boundary a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something like one of those events, like Bay of Pigs. I don't know, one of those.
Ooh, wow, that's going back there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
one of the things that I wish that we could have done that we always talked about doing, but we just, for whatever reason, just never did it, was actually doing a live podcast episode.
yeah, I know we did talk about that.
I don't know that anyone would have listened. We'd have just been talking to dead air.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we could have got your mom. It's
There
like,
you go. Oh, she definitely would have been down. Oh, yeah.
have another question from Eric's mom.
Yes, yes.
But yeah, that's one of the things that when I first started out podcasting, everybody that's heard this story 1,000 times are going, "Oh God, not again."
Mm-hmm.
But when I first started out podcasting, it wasn't podcasting.
Yeah.
That term didn't exist, and I was on live. Well, not to start off with, but where I, quote unquote, made a name for myself was on Live 365, which was internet radio, and I did it live. I cut my teeth on doing live shows.
Yeah,
I did it
that's
the
wild.
first and third Friday of every month on Live 365 for a 2-hour show.
Yeah.
A 2-hour show by myself.
Damn.
Yeah, and I had the IMs up and running,
Oh, yeah.
and people were asking me. No one called in.
They were
Everybody
just
just
chatting.
IM'd me, which was fine. That was cool, But I had all these IMs going, and I was trying to, talk about my subject, answer these questions, and one of the things that set me apart from other shows like this, the alternative topic as I call it, was that I played music and shit.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I could do that because I had a license to do it. I was
You can
covered.
Play what you want, yeah.
So, you can't do that on independent podcast anymore. If you're like Joe Rogan, you can pay the
Yeah, you got to buy the license.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you can afford to do it. That's one thing, but that's not cheap,
Yeah.
And the good thing about Live 365 at that time, still even to this day, they still cover it, so you can play whatever you want, whenever you want, and they cover your license. So that was one of the things that set me apart was that, I had some music clicked in there because you're doing 2 hours by yourself. You got to take I got to pee.
Oh, yeah. You got to take a break. I mean, yeah.
So you play some music and listen to this while I go take a whiz, and that kind of set me apart from, I think, why my show was as popular as what it was back then. To be honest, the only thing that's keeping me from going back to Line 365 right now is the cost.
Oh, yeah.
It's hella expensive.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I would love to do it, and I would love to have, if anyone's listening out there and you want your own show,
Yeah.
just do it. Just do it.
Oh, yeah.
But if you're interested in joining a network and being able to really have 100% control over what you want to do, you need to contact me, and we need to buy a Live 365 license or membership or whatever they call it. As if I could get, oh God, I forgot how much it is. I figured it out once. I think if I had
4 or 5 people?
yeah, I think it was 6 people
Split it.
and it would all cost $10 a month for 6 people.
Damn.
And you could do whatever show you wanted. You have your show. You could play music. You could do talk. You could do music. You could do whatever, but you would have it on the radio station. But the more people you have,
Easier,
the less dollar amount it would be for everybody. And I wouldn't want to do it so I could make money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
if it would, I wouldn't want to cost. Well, if it would cost you $10 a month, if we had 6 people, I'm not going to charge you $15.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, I would love to. I've put a couple of feelers out on Facebook and stuff in the podcast group that we were in, and nobody wants to pay.
I mean, if you're paying for your own show, I would say the majority of people probably wouldn't want to do both. It would be one or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I mean, the thing about that is your show would have to exclusively stay on Live 365 because I don't know that you could, like I host with Spreaker, which is one of the more popular ones. I don't know if Spreaker would allow you to put your show
Live 365 show on
even because it's playing music, and that's one of the things is like, you cannot play music unless you own the rights to it or the license to it or something like that. And even though it would be covered through Live 365, I don't think that would extend to other platforms. So you're really kind of like pigeonholing yourself.
That's a tough one.
It is a tough one.
Because it would be, I agree, it would be, I think that'd be sick to have like 5 or 6 different people doing their own show.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, you can listen to their shows and
you have your own radio network. And
you really do, yeah.
There's groups out there that have their own podcast network, where you can get in and all that. But the thing about that is usually that costs just as much money as the Live 365 thing does. Yeah. And you don't have the freedom to do a lot of stuff that you would have on Live 365. But I digress.
It's all a trade-off.
Yeah. It is. It all depends on what you want to do.
While you were just talking about that, I thought of a couple more that I would have liked to do, and maybe in the future we will, I'll pop in and we can do one of these. But one of them is like some sort of shamanic traditions episode. Ooh. So like example, like a lot of people say that Christmas, like the Christmas tree, the presents, all of that is based off of Russian shamanic traditions where they would, in Siberia, it would be so cold during the winter months that the shamans would come down the roof of the building of the home because there would be so much snow. They would come through the roof, and they would leave Amanita muscaria mushrooms underneath the trees. So you got the tree, you got Santa Claus as the shaman, but instead of presents, he's leaving.
Got high.
You're getting high off psychedelics.
Sweet.
And there's a sort of there's obviously more to it, like shamanic traditions and.
One of the kids were getting up early and he's running down.
yeah, ready to trip their ass off.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Now it's an interesting, and there's a ton more. I mean, you go to South America and ayahuasca. I don't know that it's necessarily shamanic, but you got like mescaline and all those crazy. So I think that would be a good one. And then
peyote. Yeah,
peyote. That's true. And then I think we did it on World We Live In podcast. I don't know that we did it on here, but like a Vatican conspiracy episode. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that would be fun. I've touched on Vatican conspiracies.
Or like an alternate lives of Jesus is always a very interesting one.
Yeah. So I try not to get too much into religion on this. Usually like when I was doing episodes in December, I would have something to do with Christmas and the paranormal, or Jesus in the or in the paranormal or something like that. But traditionally, I try to not do two things. Number one, I try not to bring politics into this, because that is the quickest way to divide people and make enemies. And religion, this is the same thing.
Yes,
man, there's no there's no kind of hate quite like religious love, I tell you. Or maybe I should say there's no kind of love quite like religious hate. I don't know which one it is, but
which cracks me up. It really does crack me up.
Yeah,
because it doesn't make sense. And I know there might be people out there who don't understand what that means, but
I do. I totally understand what you're talking about.
It doesn't make sense why you would get upset by someone just saying another viewpoint. It doesn't make sense politically and religiously.
Exactly.
It doesn't make sense. So
one of the things that I started doing since you came on was you would recommend like hey, have you seen this documentary on whatever, or
yeah.
have you seen this? And I've watched a lot of documentaries that you have recommended because you recommended them.
Yep.
And one of the things that I did was I was like, well, if I'm going to watch this, why don't we start talking about it?
Exactly.
So that's one of the things that we did was we started talking about some documentaries. And one of them, the most recent, was the latest in the 411 series with the UFO connection with Eric Politis, which God, I'd got to try to get this guy on the podcast.
David Politis.
David, did I say Eric?
You said Eric.
Yeah, that's you. You're Eric. He's David. Yeah. Yeah, with David Politis. I would love to get him on the show.
He's a fascinating dude.
It
really is.
So, this is leading me to the second clip that I'm going to play. We were talking about what we thought about this particular documentary. And somehow that led us down a road of one of the things that they touched on was, alien abduction, and they talked about possibility of harvesting human sperms and eggs and all that other sorts of stuff. And that led us down this path where we were talking about hand jobs.
This is true. This is true.
So,
I mean, again, you hear this from other alien abduction. People claim that the reason humans are being abducted is because we can provide, females can provide eggs and men can provide sperm.
Yeah.
And that whoever is abducting us cannot procreate anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have to use us. Yeah.
But
I don't necessarily believe it, but that's what you hear.
But if you've had a vasectomy, it doesn't mean you can't produce the sperm. Your body still makes sperm. It's just that the passageway for them to exit the manufacturing plant has been cut off.
It's kind of a funny one, right? Because you are correct. Like, you still produce sperm, right?
Yeah.
You would just have to have it invasively
harvested.
taken out. You couldn't get a hand job from an alien.
Exactly, because
Exactly.
it wouldn't. I mean, you get a hand job, but the desired result for the alien's point of view would not be attainable. God, I love that clip. That's the funniest.
Great clip. Great clip. I mean, hey, I guarantee you, 100% there are people who claim they have been JO'd by aliens.
Oh yeah,
100%.
I'm sure.
Probably find some here in Tennessee.
Oh yeah. I could probably call some dude up right now.
Yeah,
I've got a guy.
I know a guy.
Funny you should mention that. Yeah. Let's get him on right now. I got his number here.
Yeah. Now that was that. The missing 411 is another one of my favorite. Favorite kind of things going on right now. Between, I would say it's in my top 3. Giants. Sort of like kind of ancient history, and then the missing 411. Because the missing 411, I mean, even though David Politis lays out all these cases, there's no conclusion.
Yeah.
There's no conclusion to any of them.
No, and I had to say that this last one with the UFO connection, that was the weakest one out of the trilogy that he's produced so far. I think he was grasping at straws, and that's kind of one of the things that we were talking about in that clip there was there's a part where they're talking about, I think this guy got abducted and sent back.
Yeah.
And they were saying, well, why did he get sent back and the other dudes didn't? And he was like, well, maybe it's because I had a vasectomy and I wasn't, couldn't give them what they were looking for.
Exactly.
Which, I mean, if they can harvest the eggs from a woman, they can take sperm from a man without, doing the old happy ending type deal, So that did not. Well, I understand where the guy was coming from with that. I was like, because it was just I don't know, maybe it's this, but I don't think that doesn't hold it for me as far as an answer.
I think with that one, he was, all of these crazy accounts were leading toward UFO connection because there were no other explanations. I mean, it's either time slip, UFOs. I mean, there's these accounts now coming out of like this predator type being. Have you heard these?
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Like this.
He even Paulides touched on that on one of his documentaries.
So I mean, again, there's no conclusion. There's no. The only conclusion is that people are disappearing in national
and we don't know
parks.
why. Yeah,
and no one knows why.
Exactly. So there'll be more Paulides stuff to come, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see what he does next.
It will be interesting because I know he's getting. I mean, he's not old, but he is older.
Yeah.
And he's been at it for
a while.
Yeah. So
maybe he'll pass the torch on to somebody. I mean,
yeah, I'm sure there's people out there doing the same work, just not as popular.
Exactly. Another thing that we managed to do throughout our history together is do some panel stuff.
Yeah.
Some panel debates. We did one with the ancient aliens, and then which I was like, man, that's going to be my favorite thing that we did. But then we did that whole thing with the conspiracy theories, excuse me, about being able to, be held accountable for what we promote as far as conspiracy theorists. And I know you consider yourself a conspiracy theorist. I mean,
yeah, I do.
I mean, look at your Instagram group, Conspiracy Time.
It's all conspiracies, yeah.
Yeah. So, except for the occasional dumbass meme that I throw in there that has nothing to do with anything.
Some of these Titanic memes were getting out of control as well.
Yeah.
Pretty wild.
But I think that as far as the couple of panels that we did, that was probably my favorite of them, because that's something that's very near and dear to my heart, because I do consider myself to be, I guess, a conspiracy theorist, not necessarily, a die-hard, thing. I'm a chemtrail guy.
Yes, yes.
So, and that's one of the things that I wish we would have had a chance to have tackled together was chemtrails. Maybe one day in the future,
indeed.
But I'm not one of those guys that is everything's a conspiracy theory.
There are those people, and it's annoying,
like Alex Jones.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's really kind of where that whole thing started. Was I think that as a conspiracy theorist, we do need to be careful of how we promote our conspiracy theories, and we should not be promoting things like Alex Jones and other people like him do, which is, be out to cause almost deliberate harm and stress to people. And, I think that what happened to him should be a wake-up call. I mean, everybody knows he lost the case. Those people are never going to see a freaking dime of anything.
$1 billion or something.
He ain't got that
much money.
Yeah, you don't have that. It was just to make a point.
Exactly.
If you were to talk to these people, it was just to make a point for him to be publicly held accountable for the shit that he's done. And I think that should be a wake-up call to us conspiracy theorists. I mean, it's one thing to, have a conspiracy theory and to promote your theory. And what I mean by promote is to, say, hey, I have this theory and here's what I think it is and this is why. It's one thing to do that, but then to deliberately cause harm to people. You should never call for people to come up in arms. You should never call for someone to get hurt, or you should never want people who are subscribing to your conspiracy theory to want to go out there and deliberately track down somebody to cause whatever kind of harm, whether it's physical or mental or whatever.
He fell into the trap of saying too much. I think. I mean, Alex Jones has been right on a few occasions about things.
Yeah. Like
Bohemian Grove, that was the biggest one. But again, he got, in my opinion, he got way too over his skis and started making claims that had no factual basis.
All for profit.
Yeah, all for his show, which, if you've never listened, I've only listened to a show a couple times, but it's like 3 or 4 hours long.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so much material, and it's like almost every day. So like, it's inevitable that he's going to say some shit that is not true, and he just said shit that
wasn't true.
Wasn't true, and way, way, way too inflammatory.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that was one of my favorite. I only did a couple of those, but that out of the couple that we did, that was my favorite one. And we had a person who was an attorney on the as a guest,
right.
And I mean it was pretty good. And we talked to Oz the Oddball, Ozzy from.
Yeah, I was thinking about him the other day.
Yeah. I've kind of lost touch with him. I need to find out what the heck's going on with him.
One of my favorite podcasts, Mysterious Universe. Yeah. They're from Australia, and they were just talking about how far Australia is from everything.
Yeah.
Like, even though Australia has like some really cool cities, lots of people, Australia is like a 14-hour plane ride from LA.
Yeah.
That's nuts. So, but yeah, I was just saying that because.
Yeah.
And they're like at what, half a day ahead of us?
Something like that. Yeah. It's like 6 hours of some weird thing. So that was one of my favorite topics that we did was talking about that. And I think that really kind of what inspired me to get that panel together and to start talking bringing that to light was because of the collaboration that I had with you, where you came in and it was pretty clear after you'd been on for like 2 or 3 episodes. And I think you even have gone on record for saying this is like, I'm a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I never really considered myself to be a conspiracy theorist until I started having you sit in the co-host chair over there and you sitting in the co-host desk and us talking about all these conspiracy theories that you brought to the podcast.
For sure.
Really has not only changed the way at how I consider myself now to, I guess I am a conspiracy theorist, to kind of the direction that the podcast has taken over the time that you've been with us, because I've really leaned more heavily into the whole conspiracy theory side of things. And I always tried before then to not be a conspiracy theory podcast. And I don't think that I am a conspiracy theory podcast.
No,
I still think I have enough topics that, make it a more all-encompassing. But I have now more embraced the topic of conspiracy theories, and it's really become now like a passion project of mine to make sure that conspiracy theorists are responsible and for what they promote. And for that, my friend, I have you to thank for that. And I appreciate you kind of opening up my mind and my eyes. And I always, at the end of every podcast, I say, you got to expand your consciousness, and I think that I was guilty of maybe not doing that. Mm-hmm. So thank you for opening up the world of conspiracy theories to me. That sounds really weird, but yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome. The interesting thing, I didn't do it. There was no goal there.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Which I think is good and interesting to point out. Like, people don't need to go into certain situations with like a desired outcome.
So true. Which is one of the things that I have always prided myself on this podcast. I have no agenda other than to bring the information to you.
Exactly.
And I want you as the listener who's out there on the other end of internet land to take the info that I'm presenting to you and do your own research. I don't expect you to take everything that I tell you for as being the gospel. Hell, there's been plenty of episodes that I have done on things, whether it's conspiracy theories or ghost hauntings, cryptids, whatever, where I'm like, I don't really believe in this, but it's an interesting topic, and here's the information that I know. So, if you can make me change my mind, if you can convince me to change my mind, I'll do it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that, you have to go into everything being a 100% believer, because then you're going to skew all the information and you're going to mislead your listeners into thinking one way, and that's your way.
That takes the fun out of it too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a journey. Like
It is.
if I came in here and be like, this is what I believe, this is what I believe, I'm gonna make people believe this, like that'd be boring.
It's no fun. Yeah.
get so
it's
burnt
just
out
it's like a
doing that.
preacher
Yeah.
going to church.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
You know. So thanks for kind of changing my mind about the world of conspiracy theories and for giving me something that's kind of like a new passion project for me. I was just telling my wife today. So get this now, okay? You ever watch C-SPAN?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
No, I mean not like not like every week.
'Cause nobody
but
watches
I've
C-SPAN.
seen C-SPAN.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
So I was flipping through the guide on the
Yeah.
TV, and there's this show on C-SPAN. It was called The Civil War.
Okay.
And I'm a history buff, and I like I'm a big Revolutionary War person, big World War II person. You know that. The Nazis fascinate me with their weird occult beliefs and everything. No, I am not a Nazi. Okay, let me go on record. I do not support Nazism. I am not anti-Semitic. I just think that their belief system was very fascinating. And I think there's a lot to some of the things that they were doing as far as what they were onto, But I like the Civil War as well. And so this title was The Civil War, and it caught my eye. I was like, what the hell is C-SPAN doing, airing something about the Civil War? So you hit the little info button, and C-SPAN will occasionally air lecture topics from people. One of the most interesting ones that I saw prior to this was, and his name just left me. He was
a topic.
He was an author. He does a lot of history books on history. He had that show on History Channel called Lost History. God,
Let's see if I can.
Can't remember his name. He's bald with glasses.
If I can find it real quick.
Yeah, look on your internet device. Anyway, he was talking about one of the books that he had written. And it was just a little lecture that he was giving. And anyway, so this was
Brad Meltzer?
That's it, Brad Meltzer. I had his name, and then it just as quick as it came to me, it went away. So yeah, Brad Meltzer was talking about one of his latest books, and so this was somebody filmed this meeting of like some history club or something like that that was doing a little lecture panel, and it's 4 different people who are up, and they're talking about how conspiracy theories have made their way into modern day politics. And it sounds like the most boring snooze fest, but I recorded it. I'm like, I have to watch this.
That's interesting. Yep.
And I've only watched like 15 minutes of it, and it's really cool.
I bet.
So I forgot where I was heading with this.
I mean,
totally.
Yeah.
Well,
if you remember, but I 100% believe that for sure.
Right. But so I don't know where I'm headed with this. Yeah. So this goes back to you making, open me up to a little bit more to conspiracy theories. And now I'm thinking this passion project of mine is to make sure that people, conspiracy theorists particularly, know that they need to be careful with what they say, how they promote it.
Yeah.
And this is kind of following along in with that. And I was just telling my wife, I was like, I don't know how to write a book, but if I were to write a book, it would probably be something about how conspiracy theorists need to be held accountable for what they say and how we promote our, stuff. And she was like, well, why don't you just write it? I'm like, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But, I may take a stab at that in all the free time that I don't have.
Yeah, in the free
All right,
time that
one sentence a week. It'll take me 20 years. On my deathbed, I'll publish it.
Yeah, self-published.
There you go.
That's... I think part of it is like a lot of people are waking up to the bullshit that's been promoted through the news media forever.
Yeah.
And now there are outlets that actually tell you and show you what's happening. Like, I mean, I know you were just recently, a couple months ago, talking about the World Economic Forum and all the craziness that they're trying to push with Klaus Schwab, who was a Nazi, or at least participated in search of Jewish people and sending them to the concentration camps. So that's a whole thing. And then, I mean, honestly, just write a list. And there's a ton of stuff. So that's part of it as well. It's almost indistinguishable at this point because, and it's not even just government. It's corporations have been lying to us. I mean, polluting the environment, chemicals in our food.
We're so doomed.
Ton of stuff. So
we're doomed.
Yes.
The good thing about it is once we destroy ourselves and the planet, it'll only take, a couple of centuries for the planet to heal itself.
Yeah, probably.
And who knows what life will be like after that. Hopefully better for at least a little while.
Maybe the Giants will come back.
Maybe so. So we're ran over, but that's okay. I was expecting it to run over. So I want to ask you, what is going to happen to World We Live In podcast? Is it going away? You still going to do it?
We're still going to do it, yeah.
You're going to do it with Aaron? With
Aaron, yeah. It'll be virtually, obviously, because...
is it Zoom time?
It's Zoom time, yep.
Is it going to be a vodcast?
A VOD, no video.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Your own YouTube channel is like free,
That's true. Then I'd have to get a camera and upload the video. It actually, me and Aaron,
so much trouble.
Me and Aaron have talked about it. We have talked about it. She does work in the music industry as well, so I'm sure she could find someone to help her set that up.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It may happen. New environment. Maybe get some new ideas flowing. You never know.
Yeah, because there's a lot of weird shit that happens in Orlando.
A lot of weird shit. In Florida in general.
Going down to DeSantis land.
Yeah. Even even like just the whole Caribbean as well.
Mm-hmm.
That whole area is. Yeah. You got Bimini Road down there, which is a crazy thing. Mm-hmm. So
Bermuda Triangle is just a hop, skip, and a jump.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't know. It's been a while since anything's really happened in the Bermuda Triangle, but I feel like that one's kind of been pushed under the rug.
I've flown through the Bermuda Triangle a few times. I'm still here.
Nothing happened.
Nothing happened to me.
Damn.
At least not that I'm aware of. Maybe I was in some sort of time slip and it brought me right back and I don't remember. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe me and you don't meet in the other timeline.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be weird.
That'd be crazy. There was some Fringe action on us.
God, I love that show. That was a great show.
show.
So World We Live In's not going away. You're taking a little hiatus for a little while.
It'll probably be a couple weeks. Yeah, a couple weeks until I get set up. We just released an episode the other day about Florida cryptids. So
yes. I have that in my queue to listen to. I haven't pulled it up yet.
It's a short, sweet episode. I mean, they were mostly predictable. What cryptids? You got some big snakes.
Let me guess. Skunk Ape was in there somewhere, right?
Skunk Ape was in there. Wampus Cat is in there.
Oh, yeah.
Great one. The Wampus Cat. I love the Wampus Cat. And some other just kind of... I think there's one in there. I can't remember what it is, but it was just like really random. So, yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm friends on Instagram with this couple in Moss, Tennessee, which is like... I don't know, hour and a half away from here.
Yeah.
And they're really into cryptids and stuff. And they have this little cafe called the Cryptid Cafe.
That's so sick.
And I would love to interview those guys.
Yeah.
just and bring some free food while you're. Matter of fact, I'll just come interview you at the restaurant.
It's like a diners, drive-ins, and dives episode.
There you go.
Except cryptids.
Except cryptids. Yeah, that's awesome. That's how I'll spin it. Yeah. So yeah, I'm happy for you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Just it sounds like what you've got lined up as far as what you're going to be doing for your career and everything down there sounds awesome.
Yes.
And I'm not one to like take personal stuff and put it out on the air and everything. So I'm not going to say what it is that you're going to what it is you're going to be doing. Although I don't think you would really care one way or the other. But I think it's an opportunity that's going to open a lot of doors for you, man. And I think you're on the right track. I mean, you're in your mid-20s. I was in my mid-30s before I figured out what I wanted to do with life. So,
Yeah,
you're a step ahead of me, Betty.
And the more honestly nowadays, the more you hear people talk, I would say 95% of the people don't really know what they want to do until their 30s, or they don't really hit their stride until they're in their 30s.
Dude,
just
honestly,
I mean, there's so many things, especially after you get out of college. There's so many things that people are interested in, but yet you still have to make a living doing something, and you have to make money, and to balance and figure that all out. Also, a social life and all that. I mean,
dude, honestly, I do not feel like I hit maturity until I turned 30.
Yeah.
Yeah. So enjoy your youth, because it's all down here. After you hit 30, it's over with. Just might as well just take yourself out. It doesn't get any better. You're at the pinnacle.
Oh no.
Oh, no. No, but seriously, I think it's going to be a really interesting time for you down there in DeSantis land, and just don't get caught up. Don't become a Florida man, and I don't want to hear you on an episode of Weird AF News.
Hopefully my
Florida
girlfriend
Friday
will not let me become that.
Yeah, she
Not
seems
that I
like
want
she's
to.
pretty grounded.
Yeah, not that I want to, but
You are going right down into the mix of the war between DeSantis and Disney, because your girlfriend does work for Disney. I'm going to put that out there. So I cannot wait to hear all the inside scoop from what the hell is going on with Disney and DeSantis. Yeah.
I don't know if there was a video about a month and a half, maybe 2 months ago. People got in a fight like right at the entrance of Magic Kingdom, like punching and shit like that.
Yep.
So shit goes down at Disney, man.
Oh, yeah, man.
You get
Take their kids down there to have a good time, and then they get in fights with other people.
Yeah, you get a couple screaming kids in 98-degree heat, a little dehydrated, lots of lines. It's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's a recipe for disaster.
Going to show my kids how to be a responsible adult. Let me
exactly.
beat up this guy from Japan.
Yeah, let me hit this guy in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good times.
Oh, yeah. The magic.
Well, yes, the magic of Disney. Well, I'm really glad to hear that World We Live In is not going away.
Yeah, no. And I mean, me and Aaron have a blast doing it. So
great.
Yeah.
So more from World We Live In.
Yes, indeed.
Great. And Aaron's still going to be the full-time co-host, and
she is. Yeah, we need to get we'll get her boyfriend on
oh yeah,
here soon.
We got I can't believe you haven't had him on already.
I know. Well, like you said, we got a giant Instagram group, but
now was he into all this stuff before he started dating Aaron, or did she like suck him in?
That's a good question. I think he was into it to a certain extent, but like anyone that hangs around with
now he's indoctrinated
with us. Now he's in the mix. Yeah. The
you
only
gotta be
people
part of the family. You got to be a conspiracy theorist, dude. Sorry.
Yeah, and my parents are coming along as well. So,
nice.
I like to red pill them every now and then.
You got to.
Yeah. It's a slow drip. I'm not trying to...
Yeah. You don't want to like hit them too much at once. No. Great. Well, it's been a blast, man, and I am really so glad that you responded to my Facebook post all those years ago.
It was a game changer.
It has been. Yeah. And like I said, it's not only been a really good collaborative partnership between the two of us, but it's also been it has developed into a genuine friendship. And indeed. I am going to miss the hell out of you, my friend.
Same here, brother. Same here.
It's always a good thing when you can find someone that not only can you work closely with and have that kind of a good working relationship with, but also be buds outside of work.
Exactly.
And I'm not one of those people that I usually separate my work life and my personal life. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to say that this is my work life, because this is not how I earn my living, but this is more on my personal side. But I'm so glad, because when I went into this, I was thinking this is probably just going to be somebody that, we just do the podcast together and that's it, just like once a month, and, that'll be it. But then, we talked and I invited you on, and you took the job.
Yes.
I hope you've squirreled away all that money that I've given you over the years. It's going to help you move to Disney. But yeah, I mean, it really did, like I said, develop into a really good collaborative relationship and a friendship. And I'm really going to miss our times together. I'm going to miss putting together the co-host area for you.
Oh, yeah.
Because the secret bunker is small, so I can't keep the co-host desk up all the time.
No, you
and
can't.
I've upgraded over the years too.
It has.
You know,
It's good. Honestly, this microphone that I'm talking in right now it's better. I like it more than the ones that you gave me. But well, I think it's glowing.
It's the red glowing mic. Yeah. I want to use that microphone for myself, but I reserve it for guests. So it's guests and special people.
I'm a sucker for like the throwback, tech.
Yeah.
Because it looks like an old like 1940s radio mic.
Yep, exactly.
But obviously it's advanced and hooks up.
That's one of the reasons why I used to like the blue microphones that I used, because of they had the retro look. And blue microphones are such great mics, but they're not designed for what I'm doing with you, which is have a co-host in the room because of the condenser that they use. Yep. And so I switched from using all blue microphone stuff to now I'm a Rode guy. So now I have a Rode mic, and I have the Rodecaster mixer board over here, and
so much good tech out there these days.
There is. There's a lot of good tech. The only thing I will not give up from Blue though is this awesome boom mic here, because I love it so much.
That's legit. Yeah.
But I can't bring myself to get rid of all my Blue microphones. I have like 5.
Hey, 15 years down the line, they might Blue might go out of business, and those.
Yeah, I could finance my retirement through that. I've got all these microphones, and my wife's like, "What the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Why you don't use them? Why don't you get rid of them?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll get right on that.
I'll do that tomorrow."
Yeah, tomorrow. Oh, I got to go to work. Damn it. It'll be the next weekend. So yeah, man, this is it. I don't want to stop, but
I know.
We're having such a good time.
I know, man.
And I don't know when this is going to air. I really don't. It's going to air sometime between the next 2 episodes.
Yeah. But it'll be a little present. I'll just it'll pop up on my feed.
Yeah. That's really how I'm envisioning this. Is it going to be like a special? Because I'm really like on my quote unquote schedule. I'm an episode behind. So this will be like a catch up episode, and it'll be a very special one. And like I said, very bittersweet, but I'm happy for you. Sad for me. Sad for all the listeners, because it's not going to be something that, even though we never could get on that regular schedule, you always knew Eric was going to make the appearance, and you still are. We're still going to get you on.
Oh yeah, well, every now and then.
Do a Zoom, or even I can just call you on your cell phone or something.
Oh yeah, just patch me in. I mean that's so easy to do. So
yeah. So it's goodbye, but not farewell, or maybe it's farewell but not goodbye. I don't know what the saying goes, but
see you later.
See you later.
See you later. That type of thing for sure.
That's for sure. Mm-hmm. And I know you'll be back. I mean, you got family and friends in the area, so it's not like you're leaving
for some
forever.
Weddings and holidays, definitely.
Yeah. And speaking of weddings,
yes, coming down the line here soon. But she has her sister who will need to do that first, and they're engaged, so.
Oh, don't want to upstage the sister.
Yeah, I don't want to be that guy that like jumps in line to, like, hey, look at us, like we're also getting married. I don't want to be that person.
So you're not gonna like propose to her at the sister's wedding?
No.
Okay. All right.
No. That would be horrible.
It would be horrible. That would be such a dick.
That would be imagine.
That'd be a dick move.
God.
It's such a dick move.
Yeah.
Well, I know it's gonna happen. I want my invitation, because I will probably come.
You're right after family and my best friends from college.
Sweet.
It's you.
So I'm like 10th on the list. That's great.
Just about.
That'll work. Make sure you have it in the wedding in October, so we can do Halloween Horror Nights at Universal. That'd be great.
Dude.
You could just get married at Universal Halloween Horror Nights. We could all dress up. There you go. It's done. It's decided.
I never thought I'd say it, but that actually, having been to Halloween Horror Nights, that sounds sick.
It does. It sounds really cool. I'm down for it.
It's incredible what they do.
I tried to get my wife to, when this is a totally off topic thing, but whenever we were getting married, I did the whole thing was like, you pick the date and the venue and all that sorts of stuff, and just tell me when and where to show up.
Yeah.
I'll be there. But she wanted to get married in October, and I was like, oh, well, let's get married on Halloween. That way I'll never forget our anniversary.
Exactly.
She wouldn't do it. So we got married on October the 4th instead.
Okay.
But it was close.
I'm a huge fall wedding person.
Yeah. The summer weddings are so cliche and everything.
Dude, I don't want people. Yeah, I don't want people sweating and all. I don't want to sweat while I'm.
Yeah,
doing
no kidding.
That,
Kidding.
Yeah.
Well, dude, this is it. So we're gonna call it. And like I said, it's been a pleasure. It's been a good ride. It's been a good journey.
Loved it.
And we knew that it wasn't going to last forever. I mean, eventually all good things come to an end. But I really appreciate you taking a leap of faith all those years ago and saying, yep, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to take the ride with this guy, somebody you'd never met, and we knew absolutely nothing about each other.
That is true too.
So I'm glad that I've got to be a part of your journey with World We Live In, and I'm glad that you got to sit in the co-host chair for a little while here, and I really appreciate you just like coming along with me and being willing to get on Crazy Train.
Hell yeah, man. Been an honor.
It has been, and as well as a pleasure. And
yes.
like we said, this is see you later, not goodbye. Yeah, so before we get up, too teary-eyed and everything, I just want to say that I hope that everybody has enjoyed this little trip down memory lane that Eric and I did, which is really nothing but us two buds just sitting here talking. So I hope we had at least one or two people who listened to the whole entire podcast and didn't turn it off before it got over with. But I appreciate those of you who did take the time to listen to this entire episode of ParaReality and help me say goodbye to my friend and co-host for the last 3.5 years, Eric Easy-E Patterson. Gonna miss you, buddy. If you guys want to leave a comment about this show or this topic or anything else, just send me an email, sandman@parareality.com, or follow me on my socials, Facebook, sandman.parareality, Instagram and Twitter's @pararealradio, or you can always call the podcast and leave a message. That's 615-692-1170. There's about a 3-minute time limit on the voicemail, and remember that if you do decide to leave me a message, that you're giving me permission to play your comment back on the podcast if I so desire. So if you don't want that to happen, you need to let me know. Also available on YouTube if you want to watch some weird documentaries that I've got posted up there. Just listen to the podcast on YouTube for whatever weird reason, but I do have those people. You can find me on YouTube at ParaReality1. That's the number 1, no spacer _ That's ParaReality1 on YouTube. And finally, don't forget to visit my website, ParaReality.com. That's a place where you can keep up with all the latest paranormal news from around the world. I've got an entire page devoted to the paranormal news, and that content's updated almost daily. It's under the Para News tab. You can also shop in the ParaReality store, which I am in the process of designing some new merch for the store. Hopefully in the next month or so it'll be out. Yeah. So you can watch some of the videos I've done for the show over the years, shop in the ParaReality store, listen to all the archives. I've got tons and tons of archives in the archive section that's all available for free. You can download it anytime you want to. Download your favorite episode or go back and listen to some episodes that you've missed in the past, and that's all at parareality.com, so make sure you check it out. So everybody, that does it for this episode. Thanks to Easy-E, Eric. Eric, I know that you said World We Live In is going to be back in a couple of months, but throw out the email address in case people want to say bye to you.
For sure. It is World We Live In Podcast at gmail.com. Twitter at World We Live Pod. Facebook, World We Live In Podcast. YouTube, World We Live In Podcast. And then Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's where you can hear World We Live In.
Indeed.
And make sure that you check it out if you haven't. Support Eric's podcast, because as independent podcasters, we all need to support each other. And he's got a pretty good podcast. So it's very diverse.
Yes, we
as
cover
well.
whatever.
All kinds of weird stuff.
It's true.
I like it. Well, everybody, I can't tell you when the next episode of ParaReality is going to be because I have no idea when this one's going to drop, just whenever I get the time to drop it. So just make sure that you check out ParaReality every first and third Friday every month at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Make sure you tune in, and find out. I hope that this podcast opens up your mind to new ways of thinking, expands your consciousness, and produces a change in the way you see the world. If you wish to change, you must lift the veil of ignorance that has been cast over your eyes. Only then will you see the true power of the universe. Good night, everybody, and I'll see you again next time.
If you wish to change, you must first lift the veil of ignorance that has been cast over your eyes. Only then will you see the true power of the universe.